All right, what is up, YouTube? Today's video is a very special one that I think it would be helpful for a lot of people. So this is what not to do with your Shopify store. So a lot of people are getting into Shopify, drop shipping, e-commerce, whatever, and there are some very common mistakes that people make when starting on Shopify or really just in general with e-commerce. So I'm going to cover some of those today. These are the things that I've seen the most of from people around me or people posting about in groups, all that stuff. So mistake number one that a lot of people make is when they're trying to run ads, they are trying to outsmart the ad platform. Now, this is what you have to understand about these ad platforms that you're running ads on. If you were running ads on Facebook and Instagram, which is now, basically Meta, if you're running ads on TikTok, really just about any platform in general, you are not going to be better off trying to outsmart the ad platform. These ad platforms have invested billions of dollars into basically making their machine learning as smart as possible and as powerful as possible. There is no way that you are going to be able to actually outsmart the ad platforms. Now, there may be times when the ad platforms are, wrong about something and you have to cut something. But in general, you are better off relying more on the ad platforms rather than trying to micromanage and do things like turning the ads off at a certain time or optimizing for add to carts when you really want purchases. So you really have to think about the stuff logically. What I mean by this is if you're running ads on Facebook, for example, and you have an e-commerce store, you're running a Shopify store, and you want to get purchases, should you choose traffic as the objective if you want purchases? Well, no, because if you choose traffic as the objective, what will happen is the ad platform is going to feed you traffic that is not likely to actually convert. It's going to feed you people who are likely to basically click on the site and not purchase anything rather than who will convert. So it will be cheaper if you say, run ads for traffic versus if you run ads for purchases. With the goal set as conversions, but you're not going to get conversions, which is ultimately what you're after if you're running an e-commerce business. So following up on that point is number two, trying to outsmart the social media pages. So what I mean by this is, for example, if you're starting a Facebook page, doing something like going on some third-party site and trying to buy likes or buy followers to make the page appear legitimate. Do not do this, and there's a number of reasons that you actually don't want to do this. Now, if you're going to buy likes or followers from somewhere, the only way that I would say you could do this and not have it really negatively affect you, in my opinion, would be to say run engagement ads on the ad platform that you were actually run engagement ads on the ad platform for that social media page. So for example, if you're starting a Facebook page and you want to, get likes for your Facebook page, you could run ads on Facebook for engagement. But generally speaking, you don't want to go and try and outsmart the social media pages by buying likes and buying followers to try to make your account appear more legitimate. Now, the reason that you don't want to do this is because if you do buy likes from third parties, then what will happen is when you are trying to post content organically on that social media page, it can actually hinder the results of your content. So in other words, if I go and I buy likes from some third-party site for my Facebook page, my Facebook posts that I would make after buying those likes are likely going to get a lot less reach versus if I just posted organically with no followers and tried to grow my page the right way. Mistake number three that you see all the time is people turning their ads off too quickly or editing their ads way too quickly before actually giving them time to spend. So this is a common thing where people will, start a campaign maybe at $100 a day, maybe even less. And then like a couple hours into the day, or right in the morning on the first day, they're already turning stuff off. Generally, you do not want to do this unless you're using some, special strategy where you're looking at other metrics, which if you're just now starting, you really shouldn't be doing that anyways. So generally speaking, unless you are using an advanced strategy where you're going off other metrics to test different creatives or however you go about it. If you are running ads, you should not be turning stuff off on day one. So the ad platforms have to have time to optimize, and that time frame will vary depending on the ad platform. So on TikTok, it may be a little bit faster versus on Facebook, which may take a little bit longer. Other variables that can affect the time it takes the ad platforms to optimize would be like your pixel data, the size of the audience that you're running ads for. For example, like on Facebook, if you have a more narrow audience or a smaller audience of, say, a couple million people, it may not take as long to optimize as a bigger audience that has 100 million people or more. Following up that mistake is another very similar mistake: turning your ads off way too late. So a lot of people, I don't know why they do this, but they'll have ads that are running that are just clearly not good for the business at all. They're just doing absolutely terrible, getting next to no sales, and they'll leave them running for like months at a time, even though there's no results, no signs of life. So this is something you definitely want to avoid. Now, if I'm running ads and, say I'm on Facebook, for example, I've got something that's kind of close to break even, or it's starting to show some life in it, but it's not quite profitable, I may not turn that off right away. But now on the other hand, if you're running ads, say you've got something at $100 a day and it is getting like no sales. I mean, literally like almost no sales each week. You're getting maybe 2 sales each week, and you're spending, $700 a week on ads to get back, like $50 in sales. Well, obviously that is not working, and that is highly unprofitable for you. So you would not want to leave that running for weeks at a time. You'd want to turn that off, fairly quickly. Back it up just a little bit. It really does depend on a lot of different factors, but you don't want to leave stuff running for too long. So number 5 is choosing a bad product or offer. This is one of the most important things that you want to get right when you're starting your business. You want to know how to actually structure your offer and how to actually make an offer that people want. That is the key, and that is really the name of the game. If you can make a better offer than your competitors or sell a better product than what your competitors have, you will probably win. So if you know how to, structure your offer, if you know how to actually find a product that people want that has that wow factor, then you will really, see much better results in e-commerce. Ideally, what I would be looking for is, trying to fill a gap in the market. If you feel like there is a lack of information about, say, how to play a violin, and you are an expert at playing the violin, then why wouldn't you, basically provide that information to people? That's something you could do. Or maybe there's a specific type of violin that isn't out on the market, or a specific tool that you could use on your violin. This is the type of stuff you'd have to think about whenever you're, trying to choose a product or figure out what it is you're going to sell. And it doesn't have to be violins, obviously. It could be for anything. It could be baseball gloves. It could be digital products. It could be books. Whatever you think it is that there is that is lacking on the market, that's basically what you have to look at when you're trying to, structure your offer and figure out what to sell. Now, number 6 is a very frustrating thing right here. So if you want to succeed in business, what you really need to do, in my opinion, is to focus on the things that give you the most out of your time. For example, if you were trying to run a Shopify store, there's going to be a lot of skills that you could learn that would really benefit you. Learning how to select a product, learning how to copyright, learning how to build a website, or learning how to hire people to build a website. There's all kinds of things you could be learning about that would benefit your business. Instead of learning about things like the wording in your privacy policy on the website, or the position of your logo, or if your logo is too big or not, like little stuff that doesn't even really matter. What you should really be focusing on are the things that do matter and that do move the needle with your website. So those things to me really are, 1, the product that you're actually selling and how you position it in the market. So those two kind of go together as 1 and 2. The third one I would say would be your landing page. This one is a pretty important one. Knowing how to copyright, knowing how to actually build your landing page, knowing what types of images to use, what types of things do you want to show in your landing page to create desire for your product. How do you actually do that? And then, of course, learning how to actually run good ads. What are some hooks that you could try in the ads? Are your ads just complete trash? Are you using just some ads that you ripped off the internet, or are you actually, hiring somebody to run the ads for you? There's all these different things, all these different skills and stuff that you can learn that could really benefit you and help your business. So what I'd done for a while when I first started was I kept getting wrapped up on all these little details that don't even matter. You can't focus as much on those things, especially when you're first starting. Later on, you can always change things, but at first, you should really just focus on the things that move the needle. Number 7 would be not having realistic expectations. So what I mean by this is a lot of people, they get into e-commerce because they've seen all these ads and these gurus on social media, talking about how you can just basically, in just a few hours, just create this website for a winning product, and then you can just be a millionaire like overnight. That is not how it works. It's just not. You're most likely, if you are new to this and you don't have the skills, you're most likely going to fail your first time. Your first product is probably not going to work. Your second product probably will not work. Your third product may not work. It may take several different times of trial and error before you actually find something that works, before you get better at those skills and really develop those skills until you can actually run the business. And then on top of that, there are people who think that, they can, when they start to see some sales coming in, they start to see a little bit of success, they don't think about, how they could actually improve the product itself. Like if you're just drop shipping some crappy product from China off AliExpress with 30-day shipping times, that's not a good customer experience. So you need to start thinking, after you figure out if something's working, if you are drop shipping, for example, you need to start thinking about the customer experience and really focusing on making it into a brand. So number 8, this is the last one on the list, not planning or preparing enough. So this is, something I kind of did also when I was first getting into e-commerce. I didn't have any kind of real strategy. I just kind of would fling stuff at the wall and hope that it sticks. I'd be running like Facebook ads, for example, and I would just basically go in and try to use the targeting that I thought would be, the best. There was no real strategy involved other than just kind of flinging stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And what happened was I started to see some sales, after a while. After my first 2 stores, just basically failed, I had a store that started to see some sales. But I also ended up losing a lot of money on that store because I couldn't get it profitable. And looking back, if I knew what I knew now, I probably could have gotten that store to work. But I just didn't have a strategy, and I didn't quite have the skills when I was running that store to get it profitable and to run Facebook ads successfully, which is what I was doing at the time. 2 of the mistakes that I made, looking back, there were 2 main mistakes that I'd made with that store. The website, honestly was not that bad. The copywriting on the site wasn't bad. Overall, the website that I had was not bad, but I couldn't get it profitable because 1, I was micromanaging Facebook, trying to, basically choose what I thought would work. I didn't have a real strategy for how to test creatives on Facebook. I was just kind of like throwing them up in new ad sets and hoping that they worked. And some of them would work and then some of them wouldn't. And I couldn't overall get it profitable because I didn't understand how Facebook worked. I kept cutting stuff off too soon, or I wasn't, letting it spin long enough. And then I kept making edits to stuff. And then on top of that, secondly, the mistake that I made was I wasn't testing my creatives, and I didn't really know how to actually make good creatives. I'd watched, like a few videos on ad creatives, but I didn't have a thorough understanding of what actually makes an ad convert. And that is a very important skill to have if you want to be successful in e-commerce. Anyways, that is about it for this video. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, feel free to smash that like button, leave a comment below, subscribe. But anyways, that is about it for this video, and peace.